So everyone look at here. We are going to discuss about rule availability. So first we are going to understand how a rule availability works. At what situations we use this rule availability and all, we will see going forward. But how a rule availability works in PRPC, that's what you need to understand before you understand about rule relation algorithm. Okay. So look at here. For this to explain, I am going to create one example situation. Okay. In multiple classes and multiple rule sets. So how many rule sets we have so far? How many rule set versions we have? Let me open the, hang on. Let me open the application rule form and open the rule set. This is our existing rule set. Come on. So it has 3 versions. For my testing, which I have already logged, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 I have already logged. For my testing purpose, I am going to unlock these 2 versions. Just look at here closely, observe and understand. I am just going to unlock this for our better understanding. Now version 1 I can create rules, 2, 3 I can create the rules, modify the rules, whatever it is. Now I am going to create a property in work class. Create a property in work class. What is the name of the property is? Name of the property is, suppose I am going to give rule avail property. Simply I am giving an example name, rule avail. Rule availability we are going to discuss. That's why I have given rule avail property. And here you go ahead. For better idea, I am giving it as radio buttons. And local list I am going to give. And just first look at the design. We'll understand what we're going to do. Now, this is there in unit level class, right? Unit class. Okay. Unit class, this is there in version 3, right? Version 3 for better understand. Simply I am giving a value unit class version 3. So the same property I am going to save as. I am going to save as and create this property again. Okay, previously where did I create? 1, huh? Then I will make it 1. Hang on. If it is version 1, I have to make it, what is the value? Organization class 1. Sorry. Oh, unit class only. Sorry. Unit class 1. Previous one is unit class version 1. So now the same property I am going to create in unit class version 3. Create and open. Make sure I am going to check in everything. Okay, unit class version 3, save and check in. I have one property which is available in unit level class version 3 and version 1. Leave about version 2. If it is there or not, it doesn't matter. We need multiple. Now again creating the same property. I am creating this property in division class. In a division class I am creating in version 3 only. Division class. Don't bother about version here in this case. I want to, okay, division class, okay, version 3. Let's get. Save this. Check in this. Now again I am creating this property. One rule I am making it available in all classes. Okay, I am making it available now in organization class version 3. Okay, organization level class. This is org class version 3. Save this and check it. So now this rule is available in the current class, 2 versions. Parent class, parent of parent also it is available. Okay, and I am going to create one section just for testing purpose. This is there in work. Okay, what is the name of the section is rule avail section. So it is there in work class version 3. I am going to add the property here, radio button property here. This is radio button. And what is the property name? Okay. So now I'll close everything and open again. This is the section. And if you look at here, so the property, data model property. So the property, rule avail property is there in organization class. It is there in division class as well. And the same is there in unit class as well, but in unit class it has two versions. It is available in two versions. If you look at here, it will not show two. Okay, let me open that. Where is it? What is the property? This is the property. If you open, you can click on actions and view versions. You can see multiple versions of the rule available. Okay, in unit class it is in two versions. It is there in division as well as organization. Now I am going to run this rule. So here, what is the rule name that I call is rule available property. When I execute this section, I am requesting for the property through the section. When I am requesting for rule avail property, which property will be executed out of all these? The property is there in version 3, property is there in version 1 current class, and it is there in version 3 division class. It is there in version 3 organization class. Now PRPC has 4 different rules available with same name. 4 rules are available with same name. Whenever a requester is requesting for this rule, now out of these 4, which rule has to be executed? Okay, that will be decided by the availability of a rule. So, and this is one of the criteria in rule resolution process. Now we are going to discuss about rule availability of a rule. There are different types of availabilities there for a rule. First one is available, and the second one is not available. Okay, second one is not available. Third one I can give you like withdrawn. Fourth one, what is the fourth one? Final and blocked. These are the different availabilities there for a rule. So where you can see these availabilities and where you can set these availabilities, how this availability is going to impact the execution process of executing a rule in PRPC, we are going to understand now. Now look at here, any rule you open, beside the rule description, here you can see available hyperlink. Let me check out this, and this available, if I click on the hyperlink, you have multiple options: available, not available, blocked, final, withdrawn. Now we are going to understand how this each option works. Okay, practically where we apply this we'll see later. How this each option is going to work for our business execution, rule execution process. Now by default it is available. Make sure you are going to check in. By default it is available. I will open the property. Sorry, I will open the property. What is the property? Rule available property. So rule available property in version 3 is there. It is available, and version 1 it is available by default, and it is there in organization, division and organization, both are available. Okay, whatever the version. Now I am executing this section. Through this section I am going to request for that specific property. Which one is being executed, we are going to understand now. When the rule availability is available, what happened? Which version has been executed now? From which class, which version of the rule is been executed? From current class, unit level class. So I can say here current class, where your section or flow is executing. Current class, highest version is picked, right? So this is the general process. When the rule availability of a rule is available, means it is available for processing. PRPC picks highest version rule from current class. Highest version rule from current class. PRPC is going to pick highest version rule from current class. That is rule availability. Available means that is what we have got an understanding. Now what is not available? So I'm going to do one thing. Look at here. I'm going to make this property now. Property, I'm going to open the property which is there in version 3 of current class, check out the property, and the property availability I am going to change it to not available, and okay, save, check it. So now this is being not available. The current class highest version rule is not available now. I am going to execute the section again. Make sure you are going to check in. Okay, you must check in after you are done with the changes. Now tell me where it has been executed from. I did not change that text, I think. It has been executed from which version? Bother about version. Oh, text is also okay. Which version? 0, 1 of which class? Current class. So this is one test case. Now I am going to select 0, 1. Okay, 0, 1 I am going to check out. Availability I am going to change to not available. Save and then check it. Done. Now I am going to execute again. Now observe the execution process. So what happened? From which class it has taken? Division class. So now define the availability not available. So defining the availability not available. What is happening? So when the rule availability of a rule is not available, that rule will be ignored during the processing. PRPC ignores the processing of rule. Take this rule from next highest previous version. Takes the rule from next highest previous version. This is how. Suppose I am testing something. Okay, someone has made some change. So there is an activity. The activity has been made changes. Okay, I want to test it. Whenever I am executing, always highest version is being picked. I am able to test. I want to test the old version how it is working. So what should I do? I have to make highest version to be not available. Save and check in. Then test it. It will execute the old version rule. So I'll understand the execution process how it is working for the old version. Okay. So when the rule availability of a rule is not available, then PRPC ignores the processing of that particular rule and it is going to look at the next to previous version in the current class. Version 3 is not available, then it will look at immediately version 2. Version 2 is there, still not available, it will look at version 1. Version 1 is there but still not available, then it will go to division class. Suppose version 3 is there, 2 is available, then 2 will be executed. Current class 2 will be executed. Current class 2 is also not available, then current class 1 will be executed. If 1 is available, it will be executed. If 1 is also not available, then it will go to parent. So when the rule availability of a rule is not available, PRPC ignores the processing of the rule and takes this rule from the next highest previous version of the current class. After completes the current class, it will go to top class. Okay, next. Withdrawn. This is clear, everyone? These two clear? Available, not available. Available means always available during processing. Not available means ignores the processing of the rule and it takes the rule from the next highest previous version. Okay. Close this. And here you go. Now I am going to change this back. Not available, check out. I am going to put back not available to available version 1. This is version 1. I have set it back to. So now in the current class, version 1 is available. Latest version, whatever that I have, I am going to make it withdrawn. I am going to make it withdrawn. Now in a rule set, the highest version I have withdrawn, but remaining versions are available. Okay, now let me show you the execution process. Now tell me which one is being executed. Which one is executed? Division. Okay. So if the rule availability of a rule is withdrawn, PRPC ignores the processing of the rule, processing of all the rules in the current class, all the versions of rules in current class. Highest version you withdraw, every other version will be ignored. Okay. Version 3 is withdrawn, but version 2 is available. It will not pick current class. So when the rule availability of a rule is withdrawn, PRPC ignores the processing of all versions of the rule in that class. and it proceeds to take the rule from pattern parent class. Suppose division class I have withdrawn, then organization also I have withdrawn. Next, direct inheritance class, that also I withdraw, it will go to base class also withdraw error. Okay, so that is the process of execution. So withdraw means ignores the processing of all versions of rules in current class and proceeds in class hierarchy. This is class hierarchy. Proceeds in class hierarchy and take the rule and process the rule from pattern from parent class, simply parent class. This is what the so this is what about withdrawn. Final, let's see final now. Okay, look at here. So highest version rule, I am going to change it back to final. Okay, save this and check it. So now the highest version rule is final, remaining all are available. Let's see the processing now. Okay, if I am going to run, it will execute from unit level highest class. The same is picked, final rule is picked. Unit class version 3 I have just changed the availability to final, still it is been picked. Now final means same as available I got. It is available for processing. PRPC picks the highest version rule from the current class. It is, even though it is final. What is the difference between available and final? Okay, look at here. So you remember we have save as the rules from other rule sets to our rule set. Predefined PY default data transform, did we save as PY default data transform? We saved as from predefined rule set to our rule set to make the changes. So rule set 1 to rule set 2 we have saved as. When the rule availability of a rule is available, it is available during processing and you can save as the rule from one rule set to another. One rule set to another rule set. That is possible. Final means but we cannot save as the rule from one rule set to another rule set. I'll show you now. Look at here. So I'm going to open one of the section. Tell me where this section where did you see this section in PRPC? This section is used for what in PRPC? Operator. So if you open operator, so this screen is being designed using the section name general, which is there in data admin operator ID class, which is a final rule. Suppose if I want to modify it, what should I do? It is there in which rule set? Pega desktop rule set. If I want to modify it, I have to save as to my rule set. Save as, I'm going to choose my rule set and click on create and open. What happened? So final record conflicts. So you cannot save as the rule from one rule set to other rule set if it is final. So PRPC has some of the rules in the tool which are final rules, meaning that you cannot modify that rule. Operator just rule form, if you want to modify you cannot do it. Same name you cannot use. You change the name, that is a new rule. If you change the name, that becomes a new rule. You can change the name and save as. That means you are creating a new rule. You are not modifying the behavior of a rule. So final means the rule will be available during processing. Operator profile is available or not. When I click on operator, it is displaying the same section. The rule is available during processing. but we cannot save as the rule from one rule set to other rule set. Okay, and blocked means PRPC stops the processing and throws error message PRPC is going to stop the processing immediately and throws an error message if the rule availability is blocked. So these are the rule availabilities. Let me just rearrange all these things. So this is rule availability. So here you go with one thing is available, right? First one available, and you take final. So if you're going to consider available and final, these two one category. So available final, so available and final both are same. Where the difference is save as. So available final both will process the rule. So when which available allows you to save as the rule, final will not allow you to save as the rule from rule set to another rule set. Whereas not available and the other one is withdrawn and the other one is blocked. So not available, withdrawn, blocked. These three, what this will do? These rules prevents the processing. These are allow processing. This is going to prevent processing. So allow processing, available, final, both will allow processing. Not available, withdraw, block. These three prevent the processing. Not available is going to prevent the processing of the current rule and takes the rule from the previous highest version in the same class. Withdrawn means it is going to ignore the processing of all versions of the rules, takes from the pattern parent. In the pattern parent class it will take from. Blocked means it will completely prevent the processing, stops the processing and throws error message. So this is about rule availability. So different options of availability is going to behave in a different way. Any questions, any doubts in this? Rule availability. So anyone has any questions? So let's go ahead now and look at rule resolution process. Okay. So what do you mean by a rule resolution? See, whenever you are trying to execute a rule, so the rule is available. Suppose py default data transform you are executing. Py default data transform is there in my rule set. It is there in predefined rule set. Work class. It is there in predefined rule set. Base class. One rule is available in multiple places, in multiple rule sets, multiple classes. When you are executing, which rule has to be taken has to be identified by PRPC. So there are specific steps involved in this process. There is a specific algorithm designed to identify which rule to pick and which rule to process by process commander. So rule resolution is the process of identifying the right rule at right time by the process commander and processor. Okay, so if a rule is available in multiple classes, multiple rule sets, okay, so same rule name, it is available in multiple classes, multiple rule sets. You are requesting as a requester, you are executing py default data transform through one of the workflow. So which py default data transform in PRPC has to be executed? Has it to be executed from our rule set, version 3, version 2, version 1, or parent class, or it is from predefined class, or it is from base class, or which rule set it has to execute, our rule sets, or it has to execute from predefined rule sets. All these have to be taken by all these have to be decided, and there should be a decision taken by the process commander before it executes the rule. That process is being designed as an algorithm. That algorithm is called as rule resolution algorithm. That algorithm is designed as rule resolution algorithm. So in a rule resolution algorithm, so let me give you just a basic idea. Rule resolution is the process of picking the right rule at right time and processing it by the process commander. That is what rule resolution you can define as. Rule resolution it is the process of picking the right rule at right time by the process commander and processing it. So there are different steps involved in rule resolution algorithm processing. Okay. In the rule resolution algorithm, there are different steps involved. Okay. So whenever a requester is requesting for the rule, there are different things comes into picture. One is rule cache, and the other one is rule availability, and the other one is circumstance, and the next one is rule authorization process. All these comes into picture. So by considering all these criteria, a rule will be executed. So whenever a requester is going to request for any rule, PRPC is going to start the rule resolution algorithm execution in the background. So first what PRPC will do is, it is going to look at the rule cache. PRPC maintains a rule cache. What is the advantage of cache? What do you mean by cache memory? So cache memory is just temporary memory, wherein which suppose you execute once, that will be put into cache. So next time when you are executing, it will like directly execute from the cache. That is the use of cache memory. Okay. Now, so anytime you execute a rule, PRPC maintains a rule cache memory. So in the rule resolution algorithm process, it involves 10 steps. So the first step is verifying in the rule cache. Okay. So now whenever you request for a rule, PRPC immediately looks at the rule cache if this rule is already available in the cache or not. Suppose there are two situations. Rule can be available, rule cannot be available in the cache. Let's take rule is available in the cache. If the rule is available in the cache, PRPC immediately jump to step 7. It will not execute other steps. It will jump to step 7, picks that particular rule. And then it verifies, after it picks the rule from the cache, it verifies that the rule is not blocked. What happens if the rule is blocked? It will stop the processing and throw error message. Rule is not blocked. If the rule is not blocked, it verifies that the user is authorized to access the rule. What is the process of authorization? What is the process of authorization? Rule set, application, access group, and the operators. This operator is accessing, belongs to the same access group or not? Not belongs to means he is not authorized. Yesterday we have seen. So verifies that the authorization. If he is authorized, then the rule will be processed and presented to the requester. So whenever a requester is requesting a requester, or it can be an external system. Whenever a requester or an external system is requesting for any rule, PRPC immediately looks at the rule cache. If the rule is available in the rule cache, then it finds that instance and picks the instance and verifies that the rule is not blocked and verifies that the user is authorized to access the rule and present the rule to the requester. Done. Rule is there in cache. This is the total steps. How many steps? Only 5 steps executed. 5 steps are ignored. Suppose the rule is not there in the cache. When the requester is requesting for a rule, PRPC finds that the rule is not available in the cache. It means this is the first time rule is being executed after the cache has been cleared, or maybe this is the first time rule has been created and executed. So rule is not available in the cache. PRPC now picks all the rules with matching name and type. What do you mean by this step? Picks all the rules with matching name and type means? Yeah, see, it will pick the rule from multiple versions of the current class. Everything will be collected. Parent class it will take, organization class it will take, predefined classes, everything collectively it will take and and collect all these rules. Okay. Now out of these it has to filter out. What rules? How it filters out? Now it ignores the roles which are not available. So out of these, some of the rules are not available. It ignores the rule. Then it ignores the roles which are not in the applicable rule set hierarchy. What does this mean? So first it will look at the current rule set and application rule sets, then it will go to predefined rules. Rules are there in current rule sets, predefined rule set rules, everything will be ignored. So it will put aside. Then it ignores the rules which are withdrawn. Out of these, some of the withdrawn rules are there, it will ignore the rules. And it ignores the roles which are not in the applicable class hierarchy. What do you mean by not in the applicable class hierarchy? So tell me, what is the class hierarchy first of all? Unit, after that division, organization, parent class, direct parent, and then base class in that hierarchy. Okay. Now we have the classes, right? We have the classes Tata vehicle, data, states. Is it in class hierarchy or it is not in the class hierarchy? Tata vehicle, states. Suppose Tata, data, so data layer. Let's consider data layer. Data layer is there in class hierarchy. So operator ID you take. Data admin operator ID. Is it there in class hierarchy? So Tata, data and states. Is it available in class hierarchy? How? Is it there in inheritance path? Is it there in inheritance path? It is out of the inheritance. Hmm? So can you inherit from data class? It is there in inheritance path of workflow processing. What is the inheritance path of workflow processing? Unit, division, organization, direct parent of direct parent, or whatever it is. In that again hierarchy will be there. So anything comes into the inheritance hierarchy, that is there in the class hierarchy of the workflow processing. So out of this is there in class structure. Data class are there in class structure, but not in the inheritance class hierarchy. So now you have one role which is available in work class, which is available in data class. Which one will be executed? That is there in class hierarchy of inheritance. Division class it is there. It's not there in work class. It is there in division class. It's there in data class. Which one will be executed? It is there in inheritance path. Division will be executed. That is what the meaning. It ignores the roles which are not in the class hierarchy. So which are not in the class inheritance hierarchy will be ignored. Next, it ranks the role by circumstance. Now it will execute, it will look at the role, whether this rule has any circumstance or not. Any circumstance rules are there, it will verify the condition. Circumstance condition is met or not. If circumstance condition is met, then what happens? Circumstance version will be picked. If condition is not met, then base version. So whichever out of these two has been picked, that is the final instance, will be now set into cache. So after it has ranked the rule by its rule set and version, means highest version, okay, current rule set, like that. It will go and see and circumstance. Then it finds that best instance and it will go back to step 1. It will go back to step 1 and insert this rule into cache. So now it picks from the cache. So what are the steps after it picks from the cache? It will go ahead and verifies that the rule is not blocked and verifies that the user is authorized to access the rule, and finally process and present the rule to the requester. So this is the process of execution of rule resolution. So let me summarize it again. Rule resolution is the process of picking the right rule at right time by the process commander for executing it. So now whenever a requester on any external system requests for a rule, PRPC immediately starts executing rule resolution algorithm. So in the rule resolution algorithm we have 10 steps. So first, whenever it is trying to execute the rule, before that it is going to look at the cache, rule cache. If the rule is available in rule cache, then the rule will be picked and PRPC jumps to step 8. It will come to step 8. Okay, step 7 it will pick the rule. Step 8 verifies that the rule is not blocked. If the rule is not blocked, then it will go forward and verifies that the user is authorized to access this rule, and finally present the rule to the requester. So in a case where the rule is not available in the cache, if the rule is not available in the cache, PRBC is going to find all the instances with matching name and type. Means same activities or sections or flow actions, that is type. Name means name of the rule. So it will collect all the rules with matching name, type and purpose, and then it is going to ignore all the rules which are not available, ignore all the rules which are not in the applicable rule set hierarchy, ignores all the rules which are withdrawn and which are not in the applicable class hierarchy, and then it is going to rank the rule by its rule set version and circumstance, finds the best instance and set this instance back to the cache. Now it picks the rule from the cache and verifies that the rule is not blocked, and finally verifies that user is authorized to access the rule, and finally it will go ahead and process and present that particular instance to the user. This is the background process that happens whenever you execute any rule in PRBC, request for any rule in PRBC. That is called as rule resolution algorithm. It is fundamental of PRBC. Okay, fundamental concept of PRBC. If you have to understand rule resolution process, before this you should know what is the concept of rule set hierarchy, what is the concept of versions, what is the concept of rule availability, class hierarchy, rule authorization, operator access group, how it relates. This and all you know, combine together everything, designed with rule resolution algorithm is been designed. This is clear? Anyone has any questions, any doubts? You need to concentrate more while learning this one. Okay, just practically work on it, everything, rule availability and all. Okay, any other questions, doubts? Okay, so let's go ahead now. So we are done with